I failed the mission. The system said I'd be erased. That day, I looked at Willow one last time and said, "You can still regret it. This is your final chance." She glanced coldly at the 10 young models standing beside me. Models. I had called them over, maybe out of defiance, maybe out of desperation. A few days later, she came looking for me, panicked. She'd seen rumors online, something about me coughing up blood. But it was already too late. I was done. I'd spent 7 years chasing after Willow. She was marrying Makoto, the man who'd just returned to the country. Her eyes were icy as she handed me a check for 100 million. As agreed, she said, "This is your payment for being my stand-in." I stared at the check, silent. The system's voice echoed in my head. Mission failed. Eraser in 10 days. I didn't know what to say. 100 million. Was that the price of those 7 years? Couldn't I enjoy just a little of it before disappearing? I picked up the check and gave a bitter smirk. "System," I asked, "is there any way to fix this?" "No," it replied flatly. Willow probably thought I couldn't let her go. She pursed her lips and added, "That's already more than enough. Please don't disturb me and Makoto again." "Fine." I stood up and held on to the check. 7 years of pretending to be the perfect man, loving, thoughtful, always available. Now, I had just 10 days left. 10 days that would disappear in a blink. I scrolled through my contacts. Willow looked like she wanted to say something. "George?" It's actually I. But I had already made the call. "David, are you nearby? Send 10 models. Right now, 10. Are you insane? Your body cut the nonsense? I need 10. Pay them whatever they ask. I just sent you my location. They need to be here in 10 minutes, Willow." "Oh, we broke up." "Now hurry. I've got 9.5 minutes left." When I hung up, I looked at Willow. Her face was tight with emotion. "What were you trying to say?" I asked. Her face turned red. "You're just trying to provoke me, aren't you?" "Ah." Relaxed smile. "Miss Liu. Boss Liu. Would I want to provoke you? I've been quiet for so long. What's wrong with having a little fun?" "Don't worry, I won't bother you or Makoto again." And she didn't respond. Finally, she muttered, "You better remember that, eh?" I nodded and turned to greet the 10 women stepping out of a luxury car. They smiled shyly. "Hello, brother," they said. My head spun from the attention. I walked out with them. But just as I reached the door, I turned back. Willow's expression was tense. "You can still regret this," I said gently. "This is your final chance." She looked startled, her eyes moving between me and the girls. "I don't need to. Just be careful. With habits like this, even 100 million won't last a month. Don't come crawling back." "Don't worry," I replied. "I keep my word." Month? I only had 10 days. I turned away, but the heaviness in my chest wouldn't go away. Was it just my body reacting? One of the girls beside me reached out and held my hand. For years, Willow and I had always kept our distance from the opposite sex outside of work, but now I held her hand. Another girl reached for my other hand. I took it. 1. I could feel Willow watching me from behind. "Let's go," I said. "First stop the bank, then I'll treat everyone to a feast." After transferring the money into my name, I took the girls to the best restaurant in City A. We rented out the entire place. I ordered all of my favorite dishes. Later, we wandered the city. There were so many places I'd always wanted to visit but never had the time or freedom. At night, I danced, drank, laughed, while swaying under the neon lights. I thought I saw Willow for a second, her usual cold expression in the crowd. But it was just a paparazzo. "Excuse me," he asked. "Are you Mr. George?" "Yeah." "Don't you care if Miss Willow is heartbroken over your actions?" "Heartbroken?" I raised an eyebrow. "We broke up." "Are you drinking to forget her? Is this your way of coping?" I laughed. "Forget her. I'm finally living the life I always wanted." Those years were suffocating. If you hadn't brought her up, I might have forgotten her completely. The truth was I never really got close to her. I was just a stand-in, a placeholder she used. Because her family didn't accept the man she really loved. Sure, she cried over me. Sure, she helped me behind the scenes. But she never gave me her heart. There's more out there. Another life. Another mission. Another person, Willow. She was just a stop along the way. Annoyed, I waved to the girls. Let's go. Then I turned. Back to the paparazzo. Take your photos. Write your stories. Just stop bothering me. After that, we headed back to the hotel. How many rooms? The front desk asked. 1, I said. The presidential suite. The next morning I woke up nauseous. I stumbled into the bathroom and threw up hard. Then came the blood. No, the pain twisted my insides, and I collapsed to the floor. System, I gasped. What's happening? This body is shutting down, it replied. Stage right stomach cancer. I'd seen the diagnosis weeks ago, but I hadn't cared. I told Willow back then, but that was the same day Makoto had asked her out. She looked at me with a mocking smile. Someone like you would get sick. You're better off dead. And now, her wish was coming true. System, I whispered. Can I leave early? The pain's too much? No. Then use the fruit from the store. It's the one that stops pain. No pain, no gain, it replied. Are you sure? It costs reward points earned from completing multiple worlds? Do it. A red fruit appeared. I ate it and melted instantly in my mouth. The pain vanished. The effect is temporary. The system warned. You'll still bleed, still suffer. You just won't feel the pain. Good enough, I said. The girls woke up and helped me get dressed. We went down to the lobby and there she was. Willow, standing with Makoto. Mr. George, the front desk said loudly, would you like to extend your stay in the suite? Of course. I handed over my card. I could feel Willow staring, but I didn't look back. We passed them without a word. My schedule was full. I took the girls sightseeing, shopping, eating, drinking. Online headlines exploded. George and the 10. Beauties, living his best life. Real life bond. Most of the comments were negative. I didn't care. I didn't have time left. For safety, I hired bodyguards. I couldn't risk delays. Every minute counted. Every day became an event. Night after night, bars, music, dancing. No regrets. Then one night, just as we were heading out to another bar, Makoto showed up. Got something to say? I asked, can we talk? Say it here. I'm in a hurry. He hesitated, then said, aren't you just mad I took your girl? It's fate. You should move on, he said. Don't parade around like this and make her uncomfortable. I stared at him for a second, then laughed. Do you think this is about her? I said. You think I'm heartbroken? He didn't answer. You really believe this is revenge? I continued. You don't even know what real revenge looks like, I thought. Back to a man I met in another world, paralyzed, betrayed. What's that? That was pain. Then I looked at Makoto again. His face looked almost exactly like mine. 7 years ago, Willow picked me only because I looked like him. Even when she told me she loved me, she whispered his name. She never loved me, and now, as they were getting married tomorrow, I saw the announcement. On the billboard, again their hands locked together, so this was the 9th day. My chest ached. The red fruit I'd taken earlier dulled it. Paparazzi were still trailing behind. Makoto just stared at me. I smiled. Getting married tomorrow, huh? Congratulations. Opened his mouth, but I waved it off. No, really? Congrats. Then I turned away and walked off with the girls. We kept partying, but something inside me didn't feel right. Can't shake the weight in my chest. Makoto had completely thrown off my mood. I sighed. Maybe if I drank a little more, I could drown out whatever this feeling was. Maybe I could forget all of it, just feel good for a while. I raised my glass and forced a laugh, glancing around at the 10 girls with me. They were laughing uncontrollably, carefree, loud. The table was a mess of bright-colored cocktails. I pointed and said, let's mix them all together. Make a depth charge. The girls laughed and started mixing the drinks excitedly. I picked up a light purple one and chugged it in one go. See that? Impressive, right? Joked. They clapped and cheered. Feeling bold, I grabbed another glass, but just as I was about to drink it, a sharp, metallic taste hit the back of my throat. I turned and vomited a mouthful of blood. "Are you okay, brother?" one of the girls asked, wide-eyed. "Was that blood?" I coughed hard, waving it off like it was no big deal. No, it's fine." "But let's keep drinking," I said. I was just showing off. Tried to lift the glass again. But before I even got halfway, another wave hit. More blood poured out, splashing into the purple drink and turning it red. It didn't stop. The blood came in waves, covering the table, brother. Girls were panicking. Paparazzi kept snapping photos. Bar staff rushed over in a frenzy. I checked the time on my phone. Midnight, day 10. And right on cue, entertainment news started blowing up. George vomits blood. Later that night, I paid the bill and left with the girls. The crowd outside was getting thicker, claustrophobic, thankfully. The bodyguards I hired cleared a path. Some people still tried to follow us. But they didn't know I used to be a racer in another world. I knew how to lose a tail. Eventually, I ditched everyone and pulled over somewhere far from the city. Quiet, just wilderness. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications lighting up the screen. George's personality change. George vomits blood on Willow's wedding day. Coincidence? Willow and Makoto's grand wedding. Calls and messages kept pouring in. So did the hate. "You're pathetic, George." Seriously? On their wedding day? Just die already? They belong together. You were just a stand-in. Accept it. I stared at the screen, feeling something twist inside, even though I knew this world was just another mission, another illusion. It still stung. My phone buzzed again. It was David calling. "George, I sent the girls home." I cut him off. "Their payment's already been transferred to your company. Please check. Is now really the time to talk business?" David snapped, nearly shouting. "What's going on?" David asked. "Weren't those girls supposed to help you move on from Willow? And now this?" I looked up at the stars. "I didn't plan any of this," I said quietly. "I didn't know I'd start coughing up blood." He went silent for a moment. "It looked real." "Don't tell me." "Yeah," I cut him off. "I'm dying." "You're serious?" "What the hell, George? You've got money. Go get treatment. Where are you? I'll come get you." A heavy sadness started to build inside me. I didn't want to talk anymore. "I don't want treatment," I said, then hung up. David kept calling, but I didn't answer. I silenced my phone. I lit a cigarette and just stared out at the quiet scenery. It was peaceful. The moonlight felt like it was pouring down from the sky and the trees. I spotted a long-tailed tit. It looked like a tiny snowball with wings. Without thinking, I snapped a photo. My first instinct was to send it to Willow. Old habits. It's dangerous ones. She used to love those birds. It's up whenever I sent her pictures of them. I opened our chat. Her last message was already there. "George, you're pathetic. Faking blood just to ruin my wedding with Makoto? Disgusting." A wave of pressure hit my chest, like I couldn't breathe. Even with the car window down, the air felt heavy. Forget it. I wasn't going to send it to her. I guess I'd forgotten. We weren't together anymore. That I still did things like she was still in my life, that was my mistake. Instead, I posted the picture on my social feed, a nimble little snowball. Within seconds, the comments exploded. "Ruining someone's wedding, George? That's a new low? Why aren't you dead yet? See you at your grave next year?" I immediately regretted posting it. David's messages kept coming. Then he started leaving public comments. "George, pick up. Answer me. If you don't, I'm leaking the recording." Then a new notification popped up. "Willow liked your post." A moment later, she commented, "I've always been marrying Makoto. I was never yours. If you really loved me, you'd let go. Should act like he's dead." Bitterness surged through me. I scrolled through my phone, hands shaking. I deleted her contact. More notifications kept coming, people saying all kinds of things. I stopped reading. Why did I feel like this? Wasn't I supposed to be numb? "Damn it," I muttered. "System, you gave me broken goods." "Negative," the system replied. "You're immune to physical pain. Emotional pain is not affected, so I'm just too upset, I asked. Exactly. I clenched my teeth. It didn't hurt physically, but I couldn't bear it. Her words played again in my head. A good ex should act like he's dead. I clenched my fists. If I wasn't so weak, maybe I'd show them real revenge. But what was the point? How long will this last? I asked. 6 to 7 hours. Then emotional distress will subside. The sweet romance is lined up in the next world. 6 to 7 hours, I snapped. Because of that woman? Every extra minute is torture. I'm done. I opened the drawer, pulled out a knife, and ended it one clean stroke. The system stammered. Host, why didn't you let me finish outside? The rain began to pour, heavy, cold. I sat there listening to it quietly. My strength faded. Blood flowed. My vision started to blur. The world went dark. The system's voice echoed faintly. As my phone slipped from my hand, notifications flooded the screen. David leaks George's recording. George diagnosed with stomach cancer. George's medical records exposed. The screen flickered. The phone vibrated nonstop. Willow's name kept flashing. She was calling. Over and over. But I was already gone. The George from this world had died. I couldn't bring myself to pick up the phone. After a while, her messages started coming in. George, what are you doing? Didn't we agree to leave each other alone?
Pick up. I'm really mad this time. Answer me. At recording.
It's fake, right? George, where are you? Meanwhile, headlines were everywhere. George refuses treatment. George is dying. David kept tagging me online, demanding I respond. Reporters had found the 10 girls I was with. People online started digging through every piece of my life. Every hospital visit. Every place I'd been, the internet split in two. Some people said, I faked the whole thing just to ruin Willow's wedding. Others said that if I had faked it, the truth would come out eventually and I'd just look like a clown. Arguments broke out. Clips of me played over and over, me deleting. Willow's contact, me throwing up blood at the bar, me smiling at Makoto and saying, Groom, congratulations, sincerely, it kept raining. I hovered, watching everything from above. I didn't know what I was waiting for. Then, eventually, people started arriving at the hill. Tires screeched. Willow's car pulled up. She slammed the door and stormed toward my car. George, I'm warning you. She stopped mid-sentence. Someone behind her screamed, What's that? Is that blood? Oh my God, there's so much blood. We found this place through George's photos. Is that his car? Willow froze. She looked down. There was a pool of blood trailing from the driver's side, mixing with the rain, spreading across the pavement. She stood still, stunned. Her shoes left red prints in the wet grass as she moved. She stared at the car door. The reporters closed in. One of them, shaking, grabbed the handle and pulled it open. Ah! He stumbled back. Inside was a scene they wouldn't forget. Blood everywhere. I'd made sure of that, even if I couldn't feel pain. I wanted the image to be unforgettable. The blood had spilled all the way outside. Someone called the police. People started panicking. Willow just stood there in the storm, completely still. Her eyes were red and locked on me. A camera flash went off. Click. That snapped her out of it. Get away. She screamed, shoving people aside. Leave him alone. She shielded me, frantic like she'd finally seen me too late. People around. Her exchanged glances and slowly stepped back. Willow knelt down and grabbed me. George, she shook me. George, wake up. She pulled me into her arms. Her wedding dress soaked with blood and tears. Her cries echoed across the hill, and I just hovered there, watching how ironic. 7 years of chasing after her. Of cold shoulders, rejection, and indifference, and now this. What was the point? The rain poured harder. David finally arrived with the police. He saw me. He stopped cold. No. He ran forward, shoving Willow out of the way. David and I had been through everything together. I had no family in this world, but he was the closest thing. We built our lives from the ground up together, so when I asked him for help, he didn't ask questions. Now he looked at Willow with pure rage. You're the bride, right? Why aren't you at your wedding? What the hell are you doing here? He sneered. Didn't you say he disgusted you? That you were done with him? Now what? Change your mind? You're pathetic? Stop acting. Would George be like this if it weren't for you? He pointed at her, eyes blazing. Every wedding anniversary will now also be George's death anniversary. Don't forget to light a candle for him. Mouthed to respond, but David turned away. The police didn't get involved in the argument. They just moved toward my body, silent and professional. It was clear enough. I was a semi-public figure, and this was my personal car, just in case something ever happened. I'd had a dual dashcam system installed, recording 24/7, both inside. And outside, the footage, along with the rest of the evidence, made things clear. There was no foul play. One of the officers reviewing the footage murmured, he was really ruthless with himself. Didn't even hesitate. I felt a little awkward hearing that. I mean, I'd eaten that fruit that blocks pain, so I didn't feel a thing. And I'd been drinking too, so the whole thing was kind of a blur. Luckily, I was a soul now. None of it really bothered me anymore. David's eyes turned red as he glared at Willow, who stood silent beside him. His voice trembled with anger. George told me he didn't want to live anymore. He looked at the blood everywhere, jaw clenched. With this much blood, he must have been in so much pain. I wanted to laugh bitterly. Come on, man, you're overthinking it. I just left early, that's all. Don't feel guilty. I wanted to say that to him, to comfort him, but I remembered he couldn't see me anymore. Sigh, forget it. The authorities stepped in and gently asked David and Willow to cooperate with the investigation, since they'd already ruled out foul play. Things moved along without too much trouble. Willow said nothing. Her head stayed down the entire time. I couldn't see her face. Her hands were clenched so tight her nails dug into her palms. As soon as they left the police station, a wave of reporters flooded toward them. Miss Liu, do you have any comment on George's death? Miss Liu, will your wedding with Makoto still happen today? Miss Liu, George's medical records have leaked. What's your response to him taking his own life? They shouted over one another, cameras flashing. Willow didn't answer a single question. She looked like she was struggling just to stand. Upright, the crowd pushed and jostled her. Finally, she turned to David and quietly asked, Can you give him to me? David let out a dry, bitter laugh. You're not his wife. Why should I give him to you? You're the one who told him to leave. His voice was low, but sharp. His eyes were bloodshot. Now he listened. He's gone. He won't bother you anymore. You should be happy, bride. Stop pretending. Who are you performing for? It's pointless. Then he wiped his eyes and walked away, leaving her behind in the chaos. I watched him go and let out a long, quiet sigh. The rain had stopped, but the crowd kept growing. The internet was already on fire. Some of the reporters who had found my body alongside Willow were live streaming when it happened. Right, they shut the feeds down quickly. But not before people saw everything. The moment that car door opened the blood, the message spread faster than anyone could stop it. Everyone now knew I was dead. They knew it was suicide. They knew it happened on Willow's wedding day. Headlines filled every feed. George confirmed dead. Reliable sources say it was suicide, tragic circumstances. George's medical records leaked. Experts say he could have been treated. Sources revealed George received $1 billion breakup settlement money wasn't the issue. Last phone call suggests George had no will to live. Even more details started coming out. Apparently I left everything to David, the public. Went wild. Soon. Interviews with the 10 girls I'd invited over spread everywhere. George wasn't like what people say. One of them insisted. He had a good heart. Nothing happened between us. Yes, we stayed in the same hotel suite, but it was huge. He didn't do anything. I rolled my eyes from above. Could you not? You're making me sound like I couldn't do anything. Even if I wanted to, I was sick. Okay? Sick? Use your heads, Luis. Eyes full of tears, said. It was obvious he did it on purpose. The day he invited us over was the same day he broke up with Willow. He never said it outright, but we could all tell he wanted to see if she'd stop him. Laura nodded. When we left that night, he told us, this is her last chance. I was stunned. You got it right, but seriously, stop guessing. Can't it just be that I really was giving her one final chance? Then she continued. When George got drunk, he called out Miss Liu's name in his sleep. He must have really loved her. Everyone knows it was Willow who left him, she added, but he still took all the blame. We didn't even know he was sick. He kept himself busy all the time. We thought he was trying to move on. But now, looking back, it's clear. He was sick, and he was still drinking. It must have hurt. Maybe I really just didn't want to live anymore. At this point, I didn't even have the energy to comment on it all. Sure, I called out Willow's name in my sleep, but in my dreams. I was pointing at her, cursing her, not calling her back with love. Honestly, I was lucky to be a ghost now. If I were still alive, I think I'd die all over again from sheer embarrassment. Social suicide, literally. It's kind of ridiculous. When I was alive, everyone said the breakup was my fault. People ripped me apart online, calling me a disgrace, saying I had no self-awareness, that I ruined Willow's wedding on purpose. But then I did, and just like that, everything flipped. Suddenly everyone liked me. People were making emotional tribute videos, editing clips of me with sad music, adding slow motion. Now I was the guy who really loved her. Now everyone mourned me. The internet agreed for once. I was tragic, and my love was real. What a joke. I sat in Willow's car, watching her face. She looked miserable. I couldn't help but wonder what was going through her mind. A little earlier, her assistant Lisa had shown up with some people to pull her out of the chaos. Now they were driving around the city, trying to avoid the media storm. Lisa sat in the front seat, glancing back at Willow every now and then. "Miss Lou, where should we go?" she asked quietly. "Every place is swarming. The whole city's on edge." There was a long pause. Lisa hesitated, then tried again, and about Makoto, but she trailed off, too afraid to finish that sentence. They kept circling the city in silence. Round and round, 3 full laps. Then Willow suddenly spoke. "What?" "Stop the car." The driver pulled over immediately. "Get out," she said. Lisa and the driver exchanged nervous looks but obeyed. Willow climbed into the driver's seat and started the engine. Miss Lou, Lisa ran back up, worried. "What are you doing?" Willow didn't even look at her. "Wedding's canceled," she said flatly, then hit the gas and drove off. I tagged along in the passenger seat, just a ghost now, watching her in silence as the city lights flickered through the window. Shadows played across her face as she drove. I didn't even know how to feel. Seeing her like that, she drove straight to my old house. That was the password. July 23rd, her birthday. I hadn't been back there in days. The place was coated in dust. She turned on the lights and just stood in the doorway, frozen, staring at the photo of us on the wall. "George," she whispered. Her voice echoed through the empty house. No answer. "George," she called again. Like maybe I'd jump out from behind a corner and say, "Surprise." Just kidding. But of course, nothing happened. The only sound in the house was her voice and her footsteps as she suddenly began tearing through the place. Opening drawers, flipping over cushions, throwing open cabinets like she was searching for something she didn't even know she needed. She tore the house apart. Eventually, she found it my old diagnosis report. It was stuffed in the nightstand drawer. Her hands shook as she opened it. Page by page, she read. "This isn't real," she muttered. "You're lying to me, George." But then she reached the last page. The truth stared back at her. Stomach cancer, mid-stage. Urgent hospitalization recommended. A single tear dropped onto the paper, right onto the date of the report. That was the same day I had gone to see her. Her hands trembled. A moment later, she tore the report to shreds, ripped it into tiny pieces like doing so could erase everything. She lost it stumbling through the house like a storm, grabbing a bottle of liquor from my fridge and downing it like water. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it through blurry eyes. A message from Lisa. "Miss Lou, I got the dash cam footage from the police. I've sent it to your email. Please check it." A second later, another notification came in, a new email. She opened it and tapped the video. And just like that, she was watching the last moments of my life. Lisa had even added a note to the video. "Mr. George called David after taking a picture of the bird. Probably wanted to send it to you, but after seeing your message, he posted it online instead. Later, Mr. George seemed to get another message from you. After that, he lost control and grabbed the knife. Willow kept watching the video over and over again. She stared at the last few messages she had sent me. Then, out of nowhere, she laughed. "George, was this your way of getting back at me?" She laughed, even as tears streamed down her face. "Well, you succeeded." I was stunned. Really? How could she think I used my own life to get revenge? That's such a stupid thought. I wasn't trying to get back at her. I was just a failure. A desperate last attempt at winning her over. "System?" I asked. "What do you think she meant by that?" "I don't know," the system replied flatly. "I'm just a program. I don't understand your human emotions. Or all these messy, tangled feelings. Fair enough." Then something hit me. "Wait, system. Why is it taking so long for me to leave? I thought I'd be gone by now." "You didn't let me finish explaining earlier," the system said, sounding irritated. "You were only supposed to stay in this world for 10 days, but you forced an early exit. Since your time wasn't actually up, now you have to stay longer." System paused, then added, "The higher-ups said you were trying to exploit a bug, so they extended your stay. They also warned you, if you pull a stunt like that again, next time you won't be floating around like this. You'll be trapped in your own rotting corpse." I didn't even want to imagine that. Actually, scratch that, don't imagine that. I turned my attention back to Willow. She was still drinking, pouring alcohol down like it was water. I just shook my head. She kept drinking until she couldn't stand straight anymore. Then she rushed to the bathroom and started vomiting. While she was retching, her phone rang. It was Lisa. "What is it?" Willow answered, her voice weak. "Miss Lou, I wouldn't bother you right now, but..." Lisa hesitated. "David's at the crematorium. They're preparing to cremate Mr. George. Do you want to come?" Willow froze. Then she whispered, "Send me the address." As soon as she had it, she rushed out. She got there just as they were about to push me into the furnace. Watching it from the side felt surreal, like I wasn't really there. "Wait," Willow shouted, running forward, trying to stop them. David turned to face her. The look in his eyes was pure fury. "You've got some ing nerve showing up here," he snapped. "Get the hell out." Looked like she was about to collapse. Her eyes were red and filled with desperation. "David, I just want to see him one last time. Please, see him." David laughed bitterly, but there was no joy in it. "Don't tell me you haven't watched the dashcam footage. If it weren't for you, he wouldn't have died like this." He took a step forward. "You want to see him? George wouldn't have wanted you anywhere near him. If he knew you were here at his cremation, he'd probably sit up from the coffin out of pure rage. Get out. You killed the only brother I had." But Willow didn't move. She just stood there. And that's when David lost it. He walked up to her and slapped her hard. The sound cracked through the room. Blood trickled from the corner of Willow's mouth. Lisa rushed in just then, saw everything, and ran over. "David, you can't do that. It's illegal. Stop hitting her. Miss Lou is suffering too." "Suffering?" David scoffed, shaking his head. If she even knew what suffering was, she'd have shown it before. She was about to marry someone else. Like she didn't care if George lived or died. His voice rose. "Ask her what she said in her last message to him. X should be as good as dead." That's what she told him. "It's not how it is." Lisa tried to step in, shielding Willow. "I don't know how to explain it, but you can't just hit a woman smack." David slapped Lisa across the face. The hit was sharp and fast. She stumbled back, stunned and speechless. David turned to Willow, his eyes full of fury as she stood. "They're silently staring at my body." "Why aren't you saying anything?" he snapped. "Can't speak? Or do you need someone else to talk for you?" Willow's lips were pressed tightly together. She didn't say a word. "Say something." David suddenly shouted, losing control. His voice cracked with pain. He looked completely shattered. Watching it unfold, I felt a wave of sadness wash over me. I wanted to tell him not to be so upset, that I was okay, that I'd be moving on soon. But no matter what I wanted to say, none of them could hear me now. Then finally, Willow opened her mouth. After a long silence, she whispered, "I'm sorry." David let out a bitter laugh. Sorry? That's what you've got? His voice was cold and sharp. He glared at her, then sneered. If you're really sorry, then fine. Go join him. I'll let you see him one last time. Willow lifted her head. Blood still dripped from the corner of her mouth, staining her dress even more. She didn't argue, didn't react, just stood there. David was about to mock her again, but before he could, blood splattered. Miss Lou, Lisa shouted, rushing over, but it was already too late. Willow had done the same thing I did. Call a doctor. Someone call a doctor, Lisa shouted, already grabbing the knife and trying to stop the bleeding with her hands. She dialed 911 with the other, but Willow pushed her away. She looked straight at David, who stood frozen in disbelief, and said, I just want to see him. One last time. David's fists clenched, his knuckles turning white. I'll take. That is a yes, Willow said quietly, then slowly walked toward my body. She didn't say anything, just stood there, staring. Blood kept flowing. Her face was pale, her lips nearly white. In the distance, ambulance sirens grew louder. David asked her softly, Did you love him? Willow kept looking at me, her voice barely audible. I don't know, she said. I just feel really sad, like my heart is broken. David looked like he wanted to say something, but in the end he stayed silent. Over here, doctor, she's here, Lisa called out as the medics arrived. Willow glanced at my body one last time and whispered, I'm sorry. I'll be with you soon. She leaned forward, like she wanted to kiss me goodbye, but collapsed before she could reach me. The medics rushed in, lifting her into the ambulance as the sirens wailed louder. David stood still, staring blankly at the ground. So, are we still going through with the cremation? One of the staff asked hesitantly. David snapped out of it and gave a nod. All right then, the worker said, as the process began. I stood there, watching my body disappear into the flames burning. Down to Ashdot, I turned to the system. Do you think she loved me? Or not? The system replied with its usual sarcasm. Seriously? You're catching feelings now? Annoying, I muttered. Why do you always twist things? Just want to know if she did. Does that mean my mission's done? Can I collect my points now? The system gave a flat response. What are you dreaming about? Whether she loved you or not doesn't matter anymore. I'm already selecting your next world. When the time comes, we'll move on. It paused, as if trying to comfort me. Don't waste time being sad over someone who didn't have a heart. The next world will be better. I promise. Fine, I said. Just make sure it's a sweet one. I can't take much more. Got it. This system knows what to do, it replied. All right. Prepare for world transition. Countdown. 5, 4, 3. One. The system's voice echoed in my ears. The sun was setting, casting a golden light across everything. I turned to David and softly said goodbye. He paused, as if sensing something, and looked in my direction. I raised my hand in one last wave. I really hoped he'd be okay in this life.